I'm going a little bit early. Going just a little bit early, just trying to get everything situated. I've never done this before, and I just want to see how it all works. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure everything out, so you guys got to bear with me. I suck at technology. I'm like your grandpa that is constantly getting scammed by scammers, right? And I'm going to try to do it outside because this is the nicest weather we've had in like 3 weeks. I don't want to spoil it sitting inside. So this guy is his name's Coy. He won the day for our Ridge Racer event. There were 2 days. He won our day. Somebody else won the second day. So I'm going to get him on here just to try to get his perspective on things. Now, can you guys hear me okay? Is my sound all right? Because I'm using this crappy headphone deal. Sound is okay? I'm probably going to have to jump off here, and I will be back. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, wait. Here it comes. All right. Ah, there you are.
Sorry.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Let's see. We're a little bit early, so we'll just bullshit for a few minutes before we get into the meat and potatoes of it. You excited? You won the day?
Yeah, I couldn't believe the
You
results.
couldn't believe it?
No, I mean, I knew I shot well. I didn't think I shot that well.
I'm going to lose this. This isn't working. Neighbors are mowing the lawn, so you guys got to deal with that because I am not sitting inside on a day that's beautiful.
No, it's very nice, but I've been out in humidity, so I'm just going to chill inside for a little bit.
Yeah, I just got off work, so. How was that wedding you went to?
It's not tomorrow. Saturday.
What's that?
It's
I thought
Saturday.
weekend.
No, it's this weekend.
Okay. You gonna bust out the dance moves?
We'll see.
Come on, man! It's a wedding. You got to do it. you got to hit him with the sprinkler. you got to shoot the dice. You got to hit him with all the moves, man.
We'll see how bad.
Make them remember you.
I told my buddy Jensen I'm gonna take one of the Ridge Racer patches and put it on my chest hair. But
oh man,
you didn't do
there's a door-to-door salesman walking around. He's like making eye contact. I'm trying to give him the leave me the fuck alone vibe. I'm busy.
Go away.
Whatever you're selling, I'm not interested. I promise you.
You need a new roof?
What's that?
They're gonna try to sell you a new roof or solar.
I don't know.
Solar
we
panel
get all sorts
things.
we get a lot of weird stuff out here. Like I was just hanging out outside, and my wife's talking to some kid on our front lawn, and I was like, "What's going on?" Like, this guy is selling math books. I was like,
okay.
This kid was an amazing salesman. She had my wife convinced that we needed math books. I was like, we're not buying math books.
That's what we
It's like, I
need.
love you, honey, but we're not buying no math books. It ain't happening.
It's been a while.
Yeah. I still know how to find X. Don't need that damn
A
book.
squared plus C squared. A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Oh yeah, unfortunately that one's like sheared into my freaking brain.
Or if you know how to FOIL.
Thank you, Scout Snipers, for that tidbit. All right, we'll go ahead and kick it off here. We're sitting at like 35 viewers. More will pick up as we get closer to 6 o'clock. All right, so I'll let you introduce yourself.
Well, my name's Coy. I shot this past Ridge Racer with M26, and I won this past event.
Don't be humble. It was amazing.
It's very humbling because I
it's
didn't
an
expect to
amazing
do
feat.
that well.
Yeah. So his Instagram, if you're interested, is I'll let you say it unless you don't want people to go to your Instagram. I know it's
I remember getting flooded, but they can go. It's _the_Waco_kid.
So the Waco kid. So
Yeah,
go find him and go flood him and hit his DMs and send him feet pics and all sorts of weird stuff.
that's fine.
Welcome to the internet, Coy.
I can only imagine half the stuff you get.
Oh, I get all the fun stuff, all the weirdness. I get dudes trying to sell me like patches, and I get dudes trying to sell me T-shirts and coffees, and trying to get me to like promote their veteran-owned business, and they're probably from Pakistan.
The wrong veterans.
Yeah, not my war. So anyway, so me and Coy, there was 2 days of this event. There was a Saturday and a Sunday. We shot Saturday, which just happened to correspond with the 50-year storm from Point Break, and we were basically like monsoon weather for 8 hours straight.
It was typical spring, like hurricane rain. It was
It
just
was
all
horrible.
day, didn't stop.
Embrace the suck, as they say.
Yeah.
But you were an RO for Sunday, weren't you?
Yes.
How was Sunday compared to Saturday?
They got a tiny little bit of taste of what rain we had because I think it was about 3 or 4 o'clock. It got real dark and then dumped rain. And then towards the end, when we were taking down stuff, it rained again. And then when Corbin and I went to a Mexican restaurant after the fact, it was dumping again. But they didn't really get to experience what we did.
No, that's a shame.
Sunny. It was sunny most of the day. And
you could see it in the scores too. Like when you look at the Saturday scores compared to the Sundays, like I think the number one, like you were like what 3? What was your score? Like 3 something?
I think it was like 355.
Yeah, 355.
I screenshotted the scores.
Yeah, you can put them up on the thing. There's like a little, or I'll do it.
This is my iPad's on this. It's a little hard to. I don't have everything.
I got it right here. The marvels of technology, right?
Wow.
Yeah, so you're like 355, and if I remember correctly, like the top dog for Sunday was somewhere around like 380. So you could definitely see like the score increase, just because they didn't have to deal with the mud and the rain and stuff like that.
It's been a lot quicker if you had good. I mean, they had probably still a little bit of mud because clay just doesn't dry out overnight. But they weren't in the big puddles and dealing with foggy glass and everything else had to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining. That I don't want to come off as like
there's really
like
nothing I can complain about.
What's that?
There's nothing I can really complain about it though. It was.
Yeah, I had fun even with the weather. So before we get deep into it, this is how I met Coy. I'm just standing there minding my business, and somebody pulls up blasting Creed, smoking a corn pipe, wearing desert tri-color camouflage. Like, what is this? That's how I met him. I was like, I got to meet this guy. So before we start getting into it, let's just clarify some terms you're going to hear us say a lot. You're going to hear us say blue course, orange course, green course, yellow course. Those are the courses of the event. So just to break it down, blue was by far the easiest. It was just kind of like an admin test your gear type thing. You're making that face. Do you disagree?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean,
well, I'm talking as far as like the physical challenge of it.
not very much of it. I
Yeah,
mean, you did maybe have to get on the ground like once, twice, but not compared
yeah,
to the other courses.
yeah. So blue was just kind of like an admin, test your gear out. We had to do, I think, like a walking engagement of the target into a reload with our rifle, and then like a walking engagement with a pistol. And I think we did transition to like 3 targets, 2 shots apiece with the rifle, and then we had to shoot a piece of steel with our pistol at like the standing, kneeling, prone from a window, just stuff like that. So that was like the only part of the course where traditional like scoring applied. So like alphas was worth more than Charlies, was worth more than deltas, that sort of thing. And then so that's blue course. Then orange course was the unknown distance course. I think there was 4 targets. It was like 100 to
7. You had
500,
your 2 pistol
2
and
pistols.
then 5 rifle.
Yeah, and the pistols were like what, 25 yards maybe.
Yeah, they're about 25 yards. They were because when we went cleaned up, I'm like, those are actually farther than I thought they were.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that they were like 20, 25 yards, something like that. But
Yeah,
the
they were down the hill a
two,
little way.
yes, the two pistol targets about 20, 25 yards away, and then we transitioned to the unknown distance course, which was 5 targets from 1 to 500. And my man here busted out the binos, like
Yeah,
absolute Chad move.
it
That
was.
picture with you, like with the binos, and you see Fam's face, the RO, is just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I got pictures. I don't know if I sent to you, like watching play by play. How I'm like, okay, I can't really see, so I'm like, the pictures is like sport, kind of like sport frame, watching me reach back,
I
grab
have
my binos,
binos. Hang on.
and then Nam's face just melted.
Look at that! Look at that Chad right there. So the unknown distance course, that was really the only course where you had to like stretch your rifle out, right? Like I don't remember anything like
Yeah,
that on.
nothing was. I don't think anything was really farther than 200, if that.
Yeah. And then I went into the green course, which is more like physical, like just straight up physical, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
it kind of eases you into the yellow.
Yeah. So you're like running down the hill, engaging targets, running back up the hill, engaging targets, running down the hill, back up, doing a bag drag, throwing shit. There was one station where you could carry an ammo can for like extra credit, and I said nope, not today. I just left the ammo can. And then the last one was green, and then yellow was the main event, which was everything. So I don't know. I remember D34 said that you made that run in like 4.5 minutes, something like that.
I think that's what he said. Is that I was so focused,
His own.
I don't even remember.
So just to give like a comparison, my old ass ran that course in like 13 minutes. So he did it like 3 times faster than me, which is amazing.
With
So
Ultima Maritime shoes in
yeah,
wet clay.
that was one thing I noticed a lot, and I want to get into that a little bit later. Like everybody wore, a good portion of people wore Ultimas. Like Ultimas was like the thing to wear, which kind of surprised me. I was expecting more boots and stuff
I
like that,
was
but
surprised to see.
everybody
I
had
mean, I
Ultimas.
ran it last year, the big event last year. Well, the first time for the demo days, I wore tennis shoes. They weren't terrible because we was in the middle of a drought.
Right.
And then last time I ran my work boots weren't bad, but they weren't good. They're just um, just wedge sole. They're good work boots. Nothing special, but not favorable off concrete or gravel.
Well, like one Jay was in my squad and he had Ultimas and he he sunk into some mud pretty bad. And he came back. He's like, my church shoes, right? Like, so it's just something that surprised me. So now you ran this last year, right?
Yes, last October,
And what'd you place last year?
17th.
17. So like, what was the big difference? Like, what was the big difference between last year and this year that puts you in number one spot? Because that's a huge jump.
Well, to be honest, it was. I wouldn't say quite equipment. It is, but it isn't. But most of it was just training. You know,
Training.
I I started last year. I took my first like I've really been wanting to do like this kind of stuff for the longest time, but you just never, then COVID happened and it's like you pretty much just got paused that during COVID because no one could afford to shoot. You couldn't find ammo, you couldn't get anything really. So, I always went back to fishing like 7 days a week, and then once COVID finally lifted up, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy an AR-15. I had an AR-10 brand that we won't describe today, but
The old PSA special.
yeah,
It's
over
okay. We've
gas.
we've all bought PSA stuff that we regretted. Like,
And
no.
then I went to swap meet, bought a PSA upper that just needed some parts, but for $200, a brand new upper, I didn't think it was a bad deal. And started learning that kind of stuff. I kind of half-assed met Mark at Briar Rabbit a couple years ago. Yeah, it'd be a couple years ago now. And then when I started watching, I found his YouTube and I started watching it. I'm like, okay, here he's got okay, that's Putnam Hill Park. Oh, he's down at the Wilds filming, when he was doing the ACOL reticle video at the Wilds. And like, okay, this guy's got to be local.
That is a fantastic video, by the way. Search it out, D34 ACOG. Anything you ever wanted to know about ACOGs.
Which I think he needs to do a part two. Because there's some reticles he didn't even talk about.
Well, he not to get off in the weeds on that one, but like he made it clear like we're just gonna cover this one to this one.
Yeah, the
Like,
mainstream ones, that the most
yeah,
common.
the most common and probably the most useful for everybody.
And then
Anyway, this is the Whiskey Hotel, the training facility. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry, I cut you
oh,
off.
you're fine. It's just, started and I took a couple classes and was doing some stuff and like I want to get better and then kind of messed with the Ridge Racer the demo days and like okay, that was my first time I had my rifle and it did not go very well. I had co-witnessed Daniel Defense irons with a Trijicon MRO. It was great until the orange stage because then I found out my irons weren't zeroed in
No,
properly.
that's not good.
Yeah, I was like almost a foot left at 400 yards, and that's when he had us shooting off a spool, which was also tricky.
What was your base gun again?
Geisley 14.5 URGI.
Okay, so you had the 14.5, but it had the Trigicon MRO with irons.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I adapted to the Primary Arms 5X micro prism with a Trijicon SRO on top with the Hero Mod mount, and I did better. This time was that the big event last year, first big event, and I mean I did better, but I took my time with that one because I kind of wanted to actually do the course and not like sprint through it like I did the first time, and then just don't really learn anything if you just rush right through it.
Right.
So
Now that's one thing that D34 harps on a lot is this course favors accuracy over speed. Speed's an important part of it, but accuracy is what's gonna get you to win. And that's
exactly
one thing he constantly says is, he considers hitting a lot more important than just being fast.
right.
Which the guy that took third, I believe, only has 1 foot, right? Like,
Yes,
not to air his business, but I got my ass handed to me by a one-legged
one-legged man.
one-legged man kicked all our butts. All right, so now the MRO, what that was another thing that he also harps on with this event is anybody that shows up with like a red dot the first time will come back with magnification, some sort of magnification the second time, which I 100% understand now that I've ran it.
Yeah, once you get your teeth kicked in the first time, it's like, yeah, I need something.
Yeah, the old MRO ain't gonna cut it today.
No, and then the parallax issues with it just was not fun.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about the
Well,
parallax issue.
they may have fixed it.
No, yeah, yeah, right. I'm African American. So, how did the course change from like last time you ran it to this time? Like, what were the
They kind of
differences? Were they
they kind of
subtle or were they big?
shortened it. Well, yellow was very huge for the demo day, the last demo day I did, and then they split it in half for the Ridge Racer event, just so there was a crossfire on green and yellow.
That would be
And
that's
then
probably ideal.
so with yellow, he kind of I don't say he really shortened it. He just kind of made it This time he kind of just made it flow better, but not take too long.
Hmm.
But he added more incidentals you had to shoot from.
That's one thing that messed me up. Like when we went into, well, I first experienced it on green. Was still in this like admin mindset of stay in your lane, stay in your bay. So I think it was like target number, position number 11, 11 or 12 of the green course. Like you're looking out and you got like three bays. So I'm looking in the center bay because I'm so used to don't go outside your lane, don't go outside your bay.
Right. You're
And he's like,
fiscally
all right, you got to
responsible.
find four targets, and there's three there. Like, where's? I think it was three, and like, where's the fourth one? Like, I can't find it, so I had to just move on. And then the RO was after it was done. It's like, yeah, it's right there. Like, that's outside the bay. Like, yeah,
Target
so
rich environment.
target rich environment. It's in your field of view. You can take it. I was like, all right. So that played into yellow. I think it was the very first one. There was like down in the gully. I want to say that there was
Hmm.
like one or two down the gully, and the rest of them were like up on the horizon at the flat range. So I was very uncomfortable shooting at those targets on the flat range just because it felt like, you know what I mean? Like it's like
Yeah. If you're
I
used to
was
flat range stuff,
right.
it's gonna teach
Which I
you like, hey,
appreciate. It took me outside my comfort zone a little bit. Like, yeah, somebody's asked, is that my phone number that's showing? It's not my phone number. This is Whiskey Hotel. This is a training facility that's out of Eastern Ohio, and I'm just doing a plug for them because give them some business. You know, if you're
yeah,
interested in DMR,
Marietta, Ohio.
there you go. So if you're interested in DMR stuff, if you're interested in a little bit extra training, I think they got a trunk gun event coming up in June, something like
Yes.
that. Yeah, so give them a look. They do competitions, they do training. Just real good people. Call Lemon Line. Joking. Yeah, yeah. I got OnlyFans now, man. I'm in the 21st century. I don't know. I don't do that 976 stuff no more. But yeah, give him a look. See, he's a really good dude, really good information, and his competitions, his courses are pretty decent from what I can see. You would know more than I do. I think you took his DMR1 course, right?
Yeah, I took DMR1. I've RSO'd for a handful of his events, and I've helped with a couple of the classes. I'm just a helper. I'm not teaching anything. I'm just observing and then helping with staff. And there's a lot to learn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's the thing is that's the thing that people got to realize. Like I was in the Marines 20 years ago. So much has changed. Like there's so much has changed, so much I've forgotten. So even if you've been around for a while, you could benefit from a course like this.
Yes, it's a
It
good
can only do you
refresher
good.
if you know one gentleman with us, Josh. He is in the National Guard, and he can do that long range stuff night and day. But he said DMR1 was a good refresher.
Yeah, and it's professional from what I can see. Like again,
Yeah, it's
I haven't
very.
taken one of his courses, but just talking to him and talking to guys at the course that are instructors, it seems like a good outfit. And I'm not a dude that I'm known to hate a lot of things. So
Yeah.
so if I'm endorsing something like this, it's because I generally think it's a good deal. But anyway, uh,
Sidebar for 1 second. I need to hop off here for a second. I'll be right
yeah,
back.
no problem. I'll entertain the crowd. All right, so he's going to disappear for a bit. We got 72 people. Anybody got any questions? Let's see. I haven't been paying attention to the chat. Besides people telling me that they're going to call my 976 number. I got to tell you what. Get outside.
All right.
Somebody's asking about how the kit held up. We'll talk about kit a little bit later. We'll just focus on the weapons right now. So, the Geisley with the what'd you have, a 1 to 6 LPVBO?
Yes.
Now, did you just keep that on like a single power, or did you dial it up and back according to what you're doing?
I just left it at 4 power to get the kind of the best of both worlds on eye relief and eye box. It's first focal plane. My scope is too, so I mean the reticle gets a little finer, but that's all I like about first focal plane. It's just keeps it simple in my little walnut brain.
Same. So you didn't dial it up to like 6, like when you went to the distance course, anything like
Orange
that?
I did for the farther
Or you
targets.
did? Okay, that would make sense because that's one thing. I have LPVBOs, but I end up just keeping them on like 4. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't really
4 is a
dial
good
them up.
happy spot.
Yeah, same as an ACOG. But that's one thing I noticed. Like when I watch the footage of other people, I see dudes at like almost every target. I see dudes at like almost every target
Yeah, it's
dialing
like
up and bringing it
just
back.
they're sit
Right,
there
right.
back
It's
and
just
forth.
every single target they went to, they're adjusting. It just seems like a waste. Seems like just keeping it at like a 4, and you just breeze through it, save yourself a lot of time and aggravation. I also saw a lot of guys running suppressors, which I thought was interesting. Like, we were in between, like we were waiting for yellow because your squad was taking effing forever. I don't know what the
Yeah,
deal was there.
I don't
Holy
know
smoke!
why green took so long.
Yeah, but like you guys were taking forever, so we were sitting on green done for like probably a good hour,
Yeah,
just BSing, and then the next squad started running green, and I noticed guys were running suppressors and stuff, and I was like, well, why? What's the benefit?
I mean, there's some accuracy benefits with it, but it does have its drawbacks.
Yeah, I just didn't see the purpose. Just me personally, I'm not a suppressor guy though. Like
I'm not a huge suppressor guy either. I mean, I don't
I
own one, but I mean, I'd like to get one, but it's not going on my rifle if
well,
I
I
do get one.
I use them if I'm gonna do some night hunting, and that's about it. Like I'm not one of these
Yeah,
let's
be
let's
respectful.
suppress everything guy. Yeah. Well, it's mainly because um I'm usually in my mother-in-law's like backyard. I don't want to wake the old lady up.
Yeah,
But it's just kind of I'm just like I see everybody wanting to suppress everything. I just don't really see the point. That's just me personally.
there's pros and cons. It just depends how you want to outweigh them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like the guys that get the was it the 11.5 with the permanent suppressor on it.
Hmm.
I get it. I get why you're doing it. It's just not for me.
No, it's not for everyone.
No, definitely not. Now, would you change anything about your gun for next time?
No,
Pretty much happy with it since you won.
yeah, it was. And so now I was also running the RCR top dot, enclosed emitter top dot, and I
Did you
use
use your
that for.
top?
I used a lot.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Yeah, everybody's running the top dots, and I've never really got on that trend. Like I might try it, but to me, it's just something else that needs batteries. Like that's just.
right.
I mean, I'm generally running a low magnified optic anyway. Like either an ACOG that's like 3 to 4 power or LPVO that's just permanently on 4 power, and I can make that work even at close engagements. But it just to me, it's just like the top dot. You just, you know what I mean? It
I
just
mean,
seems
it seems like a lot, but once you get used to it, you don't even think about it. It's just like turn on your turn signal when you're driving. You don't even think about it.
right.
You just do it.
I did try the 45-degree offset before, and I like that better just because all I had to do was just shift my gun.
Right.
But I don't think that would be a good idea with this course just because of like spider holes and things like that. Like when you got to the end of yellow, when you had to shoot through those spider holes that was like right next to
Hmm.
the ceiling, like that offset would have done you jack and shit.
Right. It one doesn't need a whole lot of good, but
No.
a lot of people swear by it. If it works for them, it works for them.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in an open space, probably. Another thing is like those really tall night vision setups you see where it's like
Hmm. Or they have a
skyscrapers.
yeah, have an EOTech on a like 2.6 riser
Oh yeah, I've let me see if I can find this one.
or
The
the
ultimate.
Geisley April Fuels one.
Oh no 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 no! This is the ultimate riser. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Took a screenshot of it earlier today, specifically so I can bring it up here. Let me see if I can find it. I'll be back. Bum, 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 bum. You guys get to watch me scroll through my phone, probably. Man, I know I took a picture of it. Where was it? Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. That was a racist meme my friend sent me, so I'm not going to post that up there.
That's for later.
That's for the boys. Oh man, I know I had it. Where was it? Waste of time. Instead, we will enjoy this picture. Where you at? Oh man, I'm very disorganized. You gotta forgive me. My finger keeps going back to that racist meme. And I know it.
It's the Green Goblin mask.
Yeah, let's do it. We're not gonna. We'll go to this one instead. This is the spider hole I'm talking about. So
Right.
that was a super pain in the ass because we're talking about like offsets and stuff. So in order to make this work, I had to kick my gun to the side and then put my head through like the beams here. I don't know how you did it, but that's how I had to do it. And
I can explain. So I just got down on my knees, and then Mark had a last summer in August. He had a little demo thing at Sword at that was at Fort Herman last year, and he was talking. It was just all about shooting out to 590 degrees, and having the MRO at that time, got your teeth kicked in. But how I learned to do it, and I do it at the range a lot, just practice. I throw my stock up over my shoulder, and then I just kind of push the rifle in. And then what's nice about having the LPVO versus the Primary Arms 5X, I can actually hold on to the scope and look to the top dot or the scope and make my hits.
Yeah, I think I cleared one target and then I twisted my back trying to get in. Being a middle-aged man.
That was a tight spot.
Okay, we're done. We're done with this one. Well, I wish I had a picture of it. So I go up the stairs, and you had the window, right?
Right,
There's
you
like
had
a
to open
little.
up.
I didn't like the only thing I saw was like this little hole. There's like a little 2-inch hole in the window. I thought I had like aim through that, or it's like, on the video. I wish I could play it. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like I'm not shooting through that little hole after this
Separate the men from the
ordeal.
boys here.
After and then I get up there and it says open the window. I was like, oh, thank the gods,
Yeah. It would have been funny if someone didn't open it right off the bat.
That's probably where the first hole came from.
Yeah, just shot through it.
Well, that was the one where I thought I lost my dope. Again, I was running a Ukrainian military equipment dust cover, which seems like it shouldn't work, but it does.
I
So
mean, they will, but it's just not
I
ideal.
mean,
But it's
I
hard
did
to go on the
okay.
AK.
I mean,
It's
I did
hard to go on the
okay with it.
AK.
I mean, I was getting one shot hits pretty much all day. The only place I like really struggled was the orange course because I'll get into this later. Was just the amount of water that was on my scope and on me. I couldn't clean the water. I physically
Yeah,
couldn't clean the
you're
water
just
off
wet.
the scope. Yeah. So anyway, so it's like, and this goes back to getting experience with like offhanded shooting. So I'm like tilted to the side trying to get a bead on the steel. I think Mark. I think he said it was like 80 yards out, and I've got my reticle on the steel, but I'm missing because instead of being vertical, now I'm hitting to the right. So that's just something you don't think about at the time. It's like I'm hitting within one maybe two shots all day, and all of a sudden I'm at a station where I'm
Struggling.
struggling. Yeah, it's like I'm 5 shots in, I keep missing. Like what is going on? So I thought I lost my dope on that one, but I took it to the range when I got home and I was dead on. So that was all just a training issue there, just me not knowing how my reticle works at an awkward angle. So that's just
That's
more training stuff to take home and to work on.
that's what's also a kind of a pro about top dot. If you do 100-yard zero on your top dot, it's a dead hold.
Right.
Put that dot on 90 degrees. Or my scope, the reticle, I have this vertical line here. Well, when we're 90 degrees, I put this vertical line right where this tip right here between the duplex. I
Mm-hmm.
put that right there where I'm wanting to shoot for 90 degrees. So
What I do with my ACOG, and I'm not going to scroll through my phone to see if I can get the reticle. I didn't see it.
I can draw
I've got
it.
what's that?
That's how I
I
can
mean, I can
draw it.
draw. Yeah, I can draw too, but it's like the way I run it. See how well this comes up. 4, 6. So this is my reticle right here, right? Oh, it's not going to work.
It disappeared. Green screen.
We got it. So I zero that for 100, and then for like 25 yards and 300, I'm using this part.
Use that tip.
Yeah, just use the tip. So even at that awkward position, I believe I was trying to use that tip and just try to get it, but I'm missing like crazy. So I didn't realize that they were just 80 yards out. I think if I knew that, I would have tried the donut of death. But again,
That's kind of the downside of the donut is you don't
what's
really
that?
have an. That's kind of the downside of the donut.
Yeah. But again, I don't remember. Like at that point, I was just so dog
Right.
tired. Like, let's get through this. Didn't M26 freak out 2 years ago to delete everything publicly? Let's go ahead and talk about that real quick. All right. This is something I get flack about all the time. No, I didn't freak out. I had somebody leak my address in the comments section of my video, along with a cryptic message, see your family soon. I do this as a
Yeah.
hobby. This is just something that I do for fun. This is just something that I enjoy. I don't make any money at it. So when you dickheads are out there, trying to fight back because I said something you don't like about your favorite gun and you do that shit, I pull up stakes and I went because I am not putting my family's jeopardy just to be on the internet. So
Yeah, it's
did
not
I
worth
freak
it.
out? Yeah, absolutely. I've as any normal, sane person would. Your family is being exposed and vulnerable on the internet. So if you don't like it, hit the unsubscribe button, go fuck yourself, and have a nice day. So
Yeah.
anyway, we'll get back to the topic at hand here. Uh, so the yellow course was really fun, but it was also a huge pain in the ass, and it really kicked my butt. Now, when we got to the end, they had the shoot house, right?
Mm.
So the shoot house was kind of fun. I wanted to do the whole shoot house, like how I did CQB with A2s. I thought you said you did so your kids could watch. No, Danny, I did. I curse a lot in my videos, and family kids watch my videos. So my family politely asked me, "Hey, can you tone it down with the language?" There we are. Two separate
Okay.
incidents, my man. Anyway, so I wanted to do the shoot house, is kind of how we did CQB back in the early 2000s with the M16A2s, which we just used to run them just short stocked on our shoulder. And then when you're coming in, if it's within like room distance, you just point shot the target, which I was pretty successful with that. The one place where I did foul up was, you got to the last like 3 targets. I want to say you had one like right here. You had another one down the corridor, probably like 15
Mm-hmm.
yards, and then
Yeah.
you had one hidden off in the window. So I came around the corner. I engaged the one that was closest to me from the shoulder. Solid hit on that one, but I didn't transition to, I didn't go to the shoulder in my sights for the one that was 15 yards out. So I missed him. I hit low. I probably blew his balls off, but that doesn't count as a delta in our scoring here. So that was like one place where that did not work. And again, that just plays into like the fatigue and everything, right? Like I was dog tired and I wasn't functioning the way I should. So, what I should have did is engage the first one, clean hit, and then because it was about 15 yards away, just gone to the optic. But I just
Yep.
went from shoulder and then went to the other shoulder. Uh, but yeah, I had a lot of fun on that one in particular. But I absolutely hated, like, when you got to the end, they had like a basic bolt action 308 set up with a scope and like a target, like maybe like what 100 yards away.
If that. Yeah, it wasn't very far.
Yeah, it wasn't very far, but the problem is I couldn't find it.
I mean, I even struggled because when we got done, Mark asked us to spray paint it. Well, it's been raining like piss out of a boot all day, and that white that yellow became like a very soft white where it just kind of blended in.
Sorry, I'm just blocking this a-hole that just wants to try to be a dickhead. Adios, muchacho. So yeah, it was like I got behind the glass and I'm like, where is this target? Like, I have no idea where this target is. And again, all those targets have been yellow to that point. So it's like I'm looking for something yellow and there was like a leaf. I was like, is that leaf it? Like there's like there's no way that leaf is the target. And at that point, I was just so tired. I just wanted to go sit down somewhere. My back screwed up from twisting, so I was like, "I'll just shoot the leaf."
Right. The hell with
I
it.
shot the leaf, and Mark's like, "What are you shooting at?" But yeah, that was definitely fun. But the thing was like we did the yellow, and then we did the blue. So that was like the last event for me, and it should have been easy
Mm.
money. But I'm not gonna lie, like I was so like assed out, like I just wanted to get through it. So I like totally biffed the blue. I think if I just stayed on point and focused a little bit, I would have did a little bit better than 17. I think that's where I ended up for the day was like 17 out of 26. But
It's still not
uh,
bad though.
well, I wasn't. I don't want to say I wasn't taking it serious, but I wasn't. I wasn't there to win it. I was just there to have fun and see how my equipment
Right.
did. You know, I I wasn't like for example when I got to the bonus point where you could carry the ammo can. I literally said, "Yep, not doing that." like, like
Nope.
points be damned. What was your favorite part of the day?
I think I liked yellow the most.
Yellow. You didn't like the distance because you had the binoculars and you got to be a Chad with the binoculars.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that orange was easy, especially with the conditions we had. It was super dark. Like the only reason I found the targets on orange was the black dots on them, and that's
Oh, okay.
all I had to focus on when I was looking for them and then sighting them. But I liked yellow, just how dynamic it was and how nuts it was.
Yeah, you definitely had to think on yellow. I mean, it wasn't just mindless. Like I felt like green was physically challenging, and you didn't have to think as much. You know, the targets were pretty easy to find. You know,
Green,
yellow.
what used to be a little not as dynamic as that. You just kind of run through a little trough and then come out on top and then jump off go into those little bunkers and make hits and stuff.
I was expecting to crawl through some mud, but I didn't have to. Thank goodness. Like,
Well, to go under defense on yellow though, that's one
oh yeah, that's
kind
true. I
of,
forgot about that.
and then the pond on yellow.
Well, that was the thing. Like I remember that specifically because I came to that section where the fence was. You had to crawl underneath, so you can see the flat range right in front of you, right?
Right.
Like the flat
I
range is
ran
right
past
there.
and Mark's like, over here. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, yeah. You can see where you need to go, but there's instructions that says find the hole and crawl through the fence. I was like, find the hole. What hole? It's right there. Like there's the
yes.
range. You know, like no, 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 no. You gotta go into the hole. So I
Yeah, I
crawl.
think he needs
You
to tape
crawl
that
under
off
the
a little
fence
bit.
and then they just like walk around it. I was like, you assholes. But yeah, it was definitely fun. Like the orange course, I biffed that one. That was the one I was really looking forward to because I wanted to see how far out I could push the 74 with the ACOG and that goofy mount. But I I think I hit the 100 yards in like one shot, no problem. But when I transitioned to like the 200 yards, this is when it was like monsoon type rain. It was just pouring down on us, and my scope, my ACOG was just like the lenses were just like caked in water, right? Like there was just so much
Right.
water built up on it, and I didn't have proper rain gear. I had like some like anorak I bought off Instagram like 5 years ago, and it was not like keeping the water out like it
Yeah,
should.
they're only
So
good for like an hour in the rain, and they just
yeah, it was like an
weaken
hour, two
weaken.
hours, and I was just completely soaked. So I had nothing to really clean my lens off. So like I was so saturated with water. I even like in the video, you could see it. I unload showed clear just so I could try to get my undershirt. Like I dug down into my anorak as deep as I could to get like hopefully some of it's dry. And like I'm using my undershirt that's soaked with water to push. I'm
The
basically just
water
pushing the
around.
water around on my ACOG. And then when I went to
Oh,
go,
Mark's watching.
what's that?
Mark's watching.
Oh, cool. What up? But I was pushing the water around, so I'm looking through my reticle, and the reticle is just like all hazy. It's like So
Yeah,
that's a
it's just all
200. I think
foggy and wet. And
yeah, it's all foggy. It's wet. It's not crisp. So at the 200, I think I cleared in like 4, maybe 5 shots, and then I tried to go to the 300. I was like, yeah, this is a waste of my time and my ammo.
right.
I'm not even gonna try it. So that was very disappointing. And it was also another training thing. It was make sure you have some way to clean your lens off. You know,
Clean and or keep them semi out of the elements.
yeah. I mean, I look. I mean, there's no real options I know of for lens
The
caps
mini
for an ACOG, other than like the neoprene thing or some bikinis.
yeah,
Which
but it's not a bad idea, but
yeah, I'll definitely bring the neoprene cover for next time. But you got to go, dude.
no, I just had to change
Okay.
AirPods.
But yeah, that was definitely disappointing. One thing I did like really enjoy though was like the camaraderie. I mean, it sucked being rained on like that, but
It
you
was a
know,
good time being wet.
it was a good time just hanging out with dudes and bullshitting about gear, which was funny. I'm not a details guy. Like I don't get into details, right? Like I don't get into like a specific type of trigger, a specific type of reticle, things like that. And like on my squad, I think it was a guy named Gavin. He was like,
Yeah.
so man, is that the ACOG with the XYZ ABC? Is like, bro, I have no fucking clue. Like, I don't know. I don't stand on details like that. I just run. But yeah, it's just not really.
Good rain gear is a good thing to keep on your not I don't say on your kit, but deployable in your kit.
Yeah, I think the only guy that stayed somewhat. He didn't stay dry, but he was doing better than most of us. Was anybody that had the ponchos, right? I think you and Chevy both were like rocking like the full ass ponchos.
Mhm.
I remember joking with D34 about it. I was like, man, look at these guys with these ponchos. And the guys with the
Look at
ponchos
these
took like,
goobers.
yeah, look at these goobers with the ponchos, but the guys with the ponchos took like first and third. So
It kinda bit me in the butt though, because I was waiting from green to yellow, I'm like, "Oh, it's no, we won't have a long wait here." I was the last one to run and just waiting, waiting. And I'm okay. I didn't have my phone on me, so I couldn't really tell what time it was or like, okay, I'm just gonna crack open an MRE and whatnot, and it kept dumping rain on us.
it did not stop. I didn't eat anything except for I bought a bag of beef jerky just to dip into every now and then. That's all I had for like 8 hours of beef jerky, which is fine. It
It's
worked.
alright, but an MRE is not bad either.
I don't know. I had too many of those things back in the day. Like,
You're probably worn out on them, but
yeah, it's
some
been
warm
20
warm
years. I still like cheese tortellini is no.
I had chili with beef and beans, even though my flameless ration heater, like, one of the heating elements was busted open, so it didn't work until, like, a half hour later.
If I would have smelled that stuff, I would have puked. Like, but no, it was definitely a good time. Like what kind of like now when it gets down to like gear, like what were you running as far as gear? I really didn't see it because you had the Chad poncho going on. Like,
Um, so Amazon USGI not well, they're not, like, surplus, but the brand's called USGI. They make mil-ish spec, ponchos, and I think a lot of flavors of camouflage, and what's cool about those, you can actually put a whoopee in them,
okay,
just like the original ones. And they're only like 20 bucks. So, I mean, if you tear one up on Briars, I'm not gonna be broken hearted about us getting another one, you know? Chest rig is a Helicon Tex, recce rig. I had to gray
okay.
market from Poland.
Do you like that?
I like it.
I've
It's
been looking
similar
at them
to
like passively, but
it's
because of
similar to a
Poland,
TAPS rig, but I think it's a little more comfortable than a TAPS rig.
I'm not a big fan of the taps just because of the straps. I don't like the strap situation on that. Like the Y harness, I feel like the sides here just kind of flap down. I don't.
It doesn't stay small enough for me, so it's only really I like my TAPS for winter stuff where I'm wearing a hoodie or a jacket where it will usually
Yeah,
stay that size.
I mean they're not bad for the money. Don't get me wrong.
No, we
Like
pick
for
them up
if you don't have
on
a lot of
sale for like
money,
50 bucks.
yeah. I mean if you don't mind the was it the ACU, the old crappy bluish gray like army pattern. You can get them for even cheaper than that.
Yeah.
I buy those and I just dye them. I just get like red dye and just change the color. How many mags can you hold in the Helicon?
Technically, you can hold up to 12
12. That's not bad.
because
But
you got.
that's a heavy load though.
Yeah, I had 8 in it.
Oh, 8. But it can max out at like 12.
Yeah, you can kind of get up to 12 because you can it's also set for AKs if you're looking for an AK tick.
Who are you talking to? You know, I'm always looking. You know, I'm always looking. I don't know who you think you're talking to. I
And
mean,
it's got nice enough molly on it too, where you can add stuff. Like I added my tourniquet, a surefire suppressor pouch, just for kind of admin stuff, like markers and Leatherman and stuff like that in there to keep it dry. And so you can fit a lot of
so
stuff in it.
now how many mags did you carry for the comp?
I had 8 in my chest rig, a
What-
20 rounder,
How much?
8 in my chest rig, 20, and I had 20 rounder in my breast pocket, and then I had 6 more in my 8 more in my backpack.
Man, you like 16 mags?
Yeah,
What?
3
Just for
quarts of water.
just for the fun of it, or
Yeah, I mean,
I know the
for whiskey,
instruction. I know the instructions said like 7 to 8, basically. I brought 7, and I think I used 5. Made like a little under 5.
well, if there's assault packs, you probably remember that they had like the little 6 mag placard you can put in the one pouch that
Yeah,
snaps on.
you just
That's
went ahead and
that,
filled that.
yep, because I have one of the multicam ones. I want to get DCU on just to match it, just have everything match. I don't
In
really
case
care.
the
You're not gonna see
Germans
it,
come, yeah, I'm ready.
but
No, I just see, like
they're
for
just
example, Jay was in my squad, and he was just running like a 4 mag placard, but he had 4 mags in his day pack type thing. It wasn't even a day pack. It was just like that.
a flat pack or whatever.
Yeah. So he would just switch them out like that way, and I thought that was a pretty good setup. But you know, running like 8 on your chest and another 8 in your pack, I mean, that's impressive. That's that is combat loadout plus.
Yes,
Which I'm not complaining. I'm making fun of you. That's if you're
no,
going into combat, that's an appropriate loadout. It's just surprising for the event.
yeah. Cause still, I mean, even then, a lot of people are still running like a 3 or 4 mag placard on plate carriers or a chest rig. I only hold about 4,
Right.
which I ran the first 2 times when I ran it with the Heel Context mini rig. You see them all over the place, and there's tons of Amazon knockoffs. They're not bad little rigs to get you started into kind of shooting, learning how to reload off a chest rig. They hold 4 mags, and they got a little dangler and a little admin pouch. They're really good for the money.
I can't really get into the dangler. Like this is I've tried the dang. Like I got a guy I know named Hub City. He's makes gear, and he's included a dangler with my last chest rig he made for me, and I tried it, and I just don't like it. It just
It's got a. It's. I mean, it can't fit. It doesn't fit everyone. I
yeah.
agree. It has to work. That's the biggest thing. Your gear has to work for you. It can't work against you.
I mean, I see the utility of it. Just more place to put stuff. It's just not for me.
That's where I
Maybe
put
maybe a small
microfibers and a
dangler.
little boo boo kit in there.
Now,
That's what I
are
use
you
my
gonna be
dangler
doing?
for. Do what?
Are you gonna do the event next year?
Um, I
Defend your
want.
title.
I mean, if Clint's shooting it, there's no way. He's just way too fast. You can't keep up with him.
You're just gonna be like Rocky Balboa, run away from Clubber Lang here. Just you got my number.
If I can get the ticket, I'll do it. And if
Now
my
what?
A4 is done by then, I might just for kicks and grins run with it.
I was talking to like the guy that ran the Garand.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to him. If I go next year, I will go next year, but I'm thinking about running like an A4 with an ACOG in my Raider gear from like 2002, just to
Mm-hmm.
represent the old school GWAT dudes. I don't know. That's a year away. We'll see how it goes.
I already got a Coyote USMC fighting load carrier vest I picked up at a surplus store.
Yeah, that was I'm before even that, bro.
Yeah,
Like
you were.
we were still using woodland even in the desert. Like I think Fallujah, we were still that was '04. We were still rocking like woodland pouches and stuff like that on a Coyote Tan FLC, and it was we looked like nobody gave a crap except people that were like really high up. Like
Right.
we
It
did
didn't
not give a
match,
we
but
didn't give a
you
shit.
needed
Like
form over function.
yeah, exactly. Like we'd have like an officer comment how we don't match. It's like, dude, I've been blown up like 5 times this week. I don't
I
care.
got chalky chip pants on. I got woodland.
It's not my concern right now. But yeah, it definitely was fun, especially like seeing like what works, what doesn't work. Like there's one guy in our squad who had like this fancy backpack deal, like a flat pack type thing,
Mm,
and it like unzipped on yellow.
mm.
So we're at the finish line. I just see him walking up with like his arms like this, and he's got magazines, water bottles, like
Picking
snacks.
up the yard sale.
He's like, "Can somebody please put this back in my flat pack?" Like, it was just I mean, that was the moment that made it for me. I was like, "Oh." I think
Which that's
last time I talked to T-34, the mag loss count was something like 5 or 6. That was
wow.
Saturday evening. Don't know what we lost on Sunday.
No one on orange lost a mag.
Do, 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 do. Boom. I'm looking in the comments real quick. We're going about an hour. Probably wrap it up here unless you
17
got something else
total.
you want to talk about. 17 Delta
Wow.
34s and 17 mags. Man, if you guys ever mow out there, you're gonna destroy your lawnmower. But unless there's something you want to talk about, we'll probably wrap it up real quick here. Keep it to an hour.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd like to change is probably my boots, and now I have my replacement, the Bell jungle boots.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm running.
That's that'd probably be the only I'd want to change.
Yeah, I mean the Ultimas were definitely probably ill advised for the day. Like
Yeah, I mean they did mediocre. They didn't do perfect. They didn't do terrible, but
yeah,
they did all right. Wool socks is a big thing too.
what is it?
Wool socks.
Oh yeah, wool socks.
So my
I
feet were
did not
fine
wear
all
those.
day.
I
My
was
feet were
not
fine all
wearing
day.
those. I was definitely shivering my ass off.
I mean, I was shivering towards the end. Wait, because luck. I mean, it was cool with the rain finally stopped when towards the end when we got to orange, and I had some hot hands in my chest rig from a class I had back in earlier spring. I didn't use them, so I'm gonna use them now to kind of warm myself up. I was just shivering and starting to cramp.
Uh, Now, one thing I did think was interesting was like I saw a lot of people running the longer guns, like 18, 20-inch guns
Yeah,
with like 3 to 9s, like scopes, things like that. And, and I'm not talking trash. Like my good friend, he was in my squad. That's what he was running, a 20-inch with like a 3 to 9. But he's from Texas, where it's all flat, so that's kind of his go-to. So it made sense. But like for an event like this, if you can, the extra, the 20-inch rifle with the heavier scope, in my opinion, is not doing as well. Would you agree with that?
I mean, it just depends how often you run it. Like, or the kind of the whole deal with Whiskey Hotel is, you run what you bring and you train
Right.
with one rifle. Kind of just dedicate using one rifle. Kind of make a Swiss Army knife. Kind of do okay at everything, or really okay, but get great with it doing it. Because you can't be out and about and be like, oh, I wish I had my 11.5 for this shoot house, or you gotta be kind of versatile with your rifle.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. If that's a rifle that your go-to, definitely use it. Especially for somebody like Whiskey Hotel and his crew, who are DMR guys. But for the rest of us mere mortals, you know, that are just going to run this just for the experience, Would you recommend like the 18 to 20, or just keep it to like a 14.5?
You'd be fine with the 16-inch.
Yeah, just good old 16-inch.
Yep,
Because I'm just
16-inch.
mainly just thinking about like the hills and stuff. Like the extra magnification just seems like a waste.
Yeah, a little more
Except
would
for
be
the orange
handy,
course, of course.
but finding a way to carry binos though.
That's the key. That was the secret to your success.
Yeah, I had a first aid pouch that I just took my binos, stuck them in, and it kind of wrapped um, the binos around a microfiber so they'd stay dry and not get busted up.
I'm telling you, Chad move. I'll
Just
put your picture
Nam's
back up
face
here if
was
I have to.
just the best when I pulled those out.
There's one thing that I'm just going to throw this in here. I just wish there was more emphasis on like medical, right? Like
Yeah,
one thing I recommended to Mark, and he can take this idea or you throw it away. It's just whatever. Is just like a tourniquet stage, just to see who knows how to use a tourniquet.
yeah, that'd be good.
Like you
Kind of
don't have
drag.
to use your tourniquet. I mean, we can get some practice ones or something.
Yeah, get some cheap ones, fake ones, whatever.
Well, they make training ones that are blue.
Hmm.
Like I will not ever endorse buying the Chinese knockoff tourniquets
Yeah,
even for
the
training.
$5 ones.
Right? Yeah.
You see it
Even
like
for training, I won't support that because those are costing people's lives in conflict zones right now. But like the guys that make the Cat 7s, like North America, they make
mhm.
blue training ones for like $20. You know, get a couple of those and just have a stage where you got to put a tourniquet on this dude just to see who knows how to do a tournament.
Which at Whiskey Hotel they do.
Yeah,
They for
put
a
your
couple of
gear on.
their events. You have a dummy with a with a like a ACU plate carrier on. And they'll have a tourniquet carrier
Yeah,
on it, and you got rip it out of your buddy's tourniquet carrier and put it on them.
yeah, exactly. Because that's what you want to do. You want to use their tourniquet, not your tourniquet.
No, Jimmy using yours.
But anyway, just an idea to throw out there. So if you want, you can stick around or you can cut out. I'm going to answer some questions here just to
I'll
see
probably
what.
cut out, eat some dinner here,
Yeah,
and
go eat some dinner, man. You need it.
probably
You got
hop
to
back,
carb. You got to
slide back
carb
in,
load
and
for the next event.
all right,
But
it was
hey,
good seeing you.
I do appreciate you jumping on here,
No
and
problem.
to me, it's very interesting to hear what works, what doesn't, because you went from just to keep this in perspective for everybody, you went from like 17 out of 25 last year to number one. All right, that's not that's a huge leap. That ain't common. So be proud of that, and
It
I
just
hope you
doesn't
come
feel.
out.
It just feels surreal though. It's
Yeah, like I it is. I fucking won. Yeah, but
I was just shooting for top 5, and then Mark goes, "How do you think you did?" I'm like,
cocaine and
so,
hookers,
something's up."
Narcan in between stages. But anyway,
Them
I'll let
rhino
you go.
pills.
I really appreciate you coming out, doing the live stream, and I hope we get together next time, and I kick your butt.
Boss man Jimmy's calling. I'll call him back.
All right,
All
probably
right.
gonna yell at you for not
Yeah,
representing.
I am. I'm wearing the shirt.
I'll put his phone number back up here.
I got too many people calling me. Quit doing that.
Tell him to get my phone number off there. There's 69 people watching. All right, I'll let you go, dude.
All right, I'll be back to
All
watch
right,
maybe. See you.
all right. Talk to you later.
See you.
All right, all right. Let's look at comments for a little bit. Let's see if anything. What power are the binos? Honestly, I don't know. They look like just regular old like vortex binos. Not expensive ones. Short AKs. What do I think of short AKs? I don't see the point. Anything under a 12-inch barrel is kind of a waste to me. But that's the beauty of like 7.62 by 39. As long as your barrel is between 12 inches and 16 inches, you're going to get pretty much the same performance. So just keep it at 12 inches. That's what she said, right? Tactical stash. I don't even have a stash. I just am burly. Boom, 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 boom. Lemon grenade, grow a mustache. I will not. I will not grow any kind of facial hair because it makes me look like I have a creepy van trolling. I know you don't like milled bulgies, but I love my milled bulgy. I'm glad you like your milled Bulgarian gun. I do not. Um, there's better things out there. Bulgarian AKs from Southern Tactical. I don't know who Southern Tactical is. Are they the same? They're probably the same dudes putting out those Galils, and I'm not impressed with those. If they're the same guys, like I think Southern Tactical is putting out like Galils, and I haven't been impressed with what I see from those things. But that's just me. Change out the straps, the tapes. Gorilla Tape repairs ponchos. There's Gorilla Tape, and there's also like vinyl patches you can put on your gear. I've had good success with those things. I think you get them off like Amazon for like $30 or something like that. You get a bunch of them. You get like a roll. It's like a roll of tape that you can cut into smaller units. So good for fixing your gear out in the field. Goober ponchos, Scotch Guard, waterproof track suits. No. Now this is one thing we didn't mention. There were dudes that came out there with like Gore-Tex and stuff, and it worked great to keeping them dry. But once we started moving around, they were all sweating. Like it was pretty gnarly. Boom, 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 boom. Now somebody 7.62 by 39 next time. I'm not against it. I thought about running 7.62 by 39 for this one. I have my Polish Tantal, I call it the Tantal 7.62 by 39 with like this ridiculous like high mount. I mean, this mount is like stupid high. I wouldn't mind running that, but mount that high will definitely not be advantageous when it comes to the awkward shooting positions and the distance course. 7.62 by 39 will do pretty well out to 300. 400 is going to be hit or miss. 500 is going to be a hope and a prayer. It's not going to do well on the distance courses. So I might run it just for the fun of it, but I know it's not going to do well at certain courses. Somebody said I shat the bed on the orange course. You and me both. I just because of the rain, the water, like I said, just running the orange course was not fun. All right, so finish off. What else we got here? So will you take 5.45 next year? I did 5.45 this year, and I don't regret it. I think I did pretty well, and the gun did pretty well. Even the questionable Ukrainian dust cover mount did okay. It did adequate. I think I'm a little bit biased just because I'm an AK guy, but I really like 5.45. I do know its limitations. So 5.45, when you take it out to distance, gets a little bit sketchy just because it's a very unstable round in flight. So even the best AK with some of the best ammo is going to be like a 3, 4, even 5 MOA gun, depending on what kind of barrel twist you got. So the distance part of it will probably be a little bit sketchy. And then if you're going to use it in like actual combat, actual penetration, 5.45 doesn't do great at penetrating. It just doesn't. So will I take it next year? No, probably do something a little bit different, but I'm glad I used it this year. The best shop to send off to fix a Wasser 10. What's broken? That's the question. What is broken on that Wasser 10? Think about getting a 5.5 ARP over the rifle. I don't know what that is. Boom, boom, boom. To carry conceal. So I'm thinking about getting a 5.56 ARP. I don't know what ARP over the rifle is. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. Boom, 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 boom. Sell M26 fake grenades painted yellow. I won't do that. I'm not a merch guy. I'm not a guy that's gonna show up with like t-shirts and hats and keychains. It's just not me. And if somebody else is doing that, I'm not talking smack. Make your money. However you can make your money, make it. It's just not something I'm interested in. The only way I do something like that if it helps somebody else out. I've been toying with this idea. A friend of mine kind of put the bug in my head about doing T-shirts, and I thought, well, the only way I do T-shirts is if it was helping somebody else out. So if I do T-shirts, they'd be stupid T-shirts, and they would go towards some sort of reputable veteran cause. Not anybody like Wounded Warrior. I won't give money to Wounded Warrior. It'd have to be a cause that I am pretty confident that they are doing well with the money. And I'm not throwing shade at Wounded Warrior. Just I did not have a good experience dealing with those guys back in the day, and they might change, they might be better. But if I'm going to give money to somebody, I'm going to give money to somebody I know is going to do good with it. I posted on my Instagram like 3 weeks ago, I believe. It was this veteran charity that I think it's like something with pause in the title. I'm having a brain fart, but basically they find like veterans. They match like veterans with like adoption dogs, right? And I think that's a good noble cause, like finding homes for animals and finding veterans who will take them in. So anyway, long story short, if I do sell T-shirts, merch, things like that, it would go towards a charity like that. Anyway, you persuaded me to get a BCM 20-inch. I hope you're happy with it. You have tons of knowledge. Blah, 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 blah. I hope you're happy with it. Now, again, all my comments about using like a 14.5, 16-inch is for this event is just for this event. All right, if you want to do well in this event, the longer guns might hinder you. You're not going to be as fast, and the extra, barrel that you're running with isn't doing you that much good because you can hit the targets just fine with a 14 and a half and 16-inch gun. As we've seen, the top competitors for this event are all running like 14.5 pin and welds. So if this was live, if I'm actually dealing with a living, breathing human being in body armor trying to kill me, I would want a 20-inch barrel with 1-7 twist with M193, so I can get the most velocity out of that barrel, out of that bullet as possible to try to defeat their body armor. But that's where I'm coming from with that. My friend's bolt in his washer, when you pull it back with the dust cover off, it lights up the pops out a little bit. Oh, okay. All right. So so basically what this guy's saying is what's wrong with his washer is when he's pulling it to the rear, it's coming out. All right. So the quickest fix for that is a buffer. I think they're called blackjack buffers. They make like a little polyurethane thing that goes on the end of your recoil spring, and that'll keep it in. Now, you'll feel a little bit more felt recoil because you're hitting that neoprene, but it's not going to come out. That's probably the easiest, cheapest fix. You might try getting a new carrier. You can get a carrier from like Arms of America, like a WBP carrier that should be okay, but you might not have that issue. It might transfer over. I don't know. I've done that before where I just put a new carrier in it and it solved the problem. But the cheapest thing is just the cheapest fix. Get one of those buffers, put it in there. They cost like $10-15. That'll take care of it. Probably the most expensive way, but the best way to fix it is to cut the rivets and move your rear trunnion up, which I wouldn't want to do it, and I build these things. So just saying. Hope we're doing well. Grow up and turns to the right. Yeah, like I said, I know exactly what you're talking about. Just get the polyurethane buffer. RH10 or Wasser 10. That'll be the last one. Sight radius. Are you going to run irons? RH10, Wasser 10. Are you really going to run irons? More than likely, you're going to be running some kind of optic like a red dot. Who cares? It doesn't matter. I don't mean to sound douchebaggish when I say this, but I hear people asking me about irons all the time, and like this is 2025. There's so many options for red dots. Just run a red dot. it doesn't really matter. But the key difference between the RH10 and the Wasser 10 is barrel profile. You got a thinner barrel profile on the RH10, which means that your gun's going to be a little bit lighter, but also means that you can put less wear on it. So like the Wasser 10 has a AKM profile barrel that you can, heat up a little bit more before you start having problems. RH10, it's a thinner barrel, so you're not going to be able to heat it up as well as you can the Wasser 10. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the gas block journal is smaller on the RH10. So if you want to do something like the front end conversion and you want to change the gas block out, you might not be able to find a gas block that works. Now, I know you're going to say, like, well, the RH10 already has a gas block front sight combo. You are correct, but it has a hooded front sight, which means that you have a hood over your front sight. The problem with that is if you're going to run a low optic like a red dot, guess what? That hood is right in your way of your red dot, right? So maybe you want to switch it out with something like a JMac that has an open front sight that you can see through with your optic, or you can just run a tall optic. You can just run like a, like a absolute co-witness riser on it, whatever you want to do. But anyway, those are the difference. RH10, thinner barrel, might not be able to find parts that fit. Wasser 10, thicker barrel, and it's a little bit easier to switch out the parts. Ultimac and red dot suits me just fine. There's nothing wrong with an Ultimac and a red dot, nothing at all. Again, uh, the when it comes to an AKM 762 by 39, you don't necessarily need magnification. It's nice to have, certainly, but it's a gun that's running 762 by 39, which means that you're really limited on range. I know everybody says, well, Rob Ski hits steel at 4, 5, 600 yards. That's not common. Most of us mere mortals are going to have trouble hitting with 762 by 39 past 300 yards. So for 300 yards for 762 by 39, a red dot will work just fine. You just have to worry about target identification. But it's definitely not a bad idea to have something like a magnifier with it. LPVBO is wasted on a AKM. I wouldn't even bother with it, but each their own, whatever you want to do. East German parts kits are really top notch. The Russian kits hit or miss depending on who demilled them. Bulgarian parts kits. I don't think Bulgaria ever did a AKM. I think they only did a Type 3, which is the milled guns, and they jumped into the 74s. So if you're going to run like a Bulgarian Circle 1074, those are like an almost one-for-one copy of the Russian AK-74s. But those things are like $1,800 these days. Who wants to pay that much? Digging the live stream. I don't mind the live streams as long as we're civil. Like earlier, I had some schmuck trying to call me out for some bullshit because his life sucks and he's probably got a 2-inch pecker, and this is his way of compensating, is trying to be a douchebag on the internet. I don't need that in my life. I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this just for shits and giggles. I'm not making any money at this, so I don't mind doing a live stream. But if it's just like a cavalcade of douchebags being douches as they want to be on the internet, I'm just not going to do them. Have you ever tried a hollow sun magnifier? I have not. It's Chinese junk. I have a SIG. What's a SIG? I think the Juliet. Is it SIG Juliet? I think I got that's her nomenclature. I got a SIG Juliet 3-power magnifier. It's been working just fine. I did have like a really cheap Chinesium one from I think a company called X-Tac, something like that. It was like less than $100, and it broke after like the second range trip. So like Chinesium stuff, it's just hit or miss. Hollow sun, like in general, let's say like I have one hollow sun that I bought 8 years ago just to break it, and I've yet to break it. But I've had hollow sun red dots that have broken, within a couple hundred rounds. So just like anything else, Chinesium, it's hit or miss. Now, I'm not super happy with the aim point magnifier. I don't have any experience with them. I am a big proponent that the aim point micro is like the gold standard of micro red dots. You can't get much better than that if you want a red dot. But as far as like their other stuff, I really don't have any idea. You know, their 30 millimeters, like their ACOs, I've had great luck with those things. Their micro T's, micro H's, you know, H1 T1s, you know, I've had good luck with them, but I've never tried their magnifiers. I'm not really a big magnifier guy. I do use magnifiers on my AKMs, and it's far too nuanced for me to talk about in like a 30-second sound bite. I might do another video on red dot mounting on Kalashnikovs, you know, soon. But you know, the only place I really run red dots, or I'm sorry, magnifiers, is on my AKM. When it comes to like my ARs, it's usually you know, like an LPVBO that I just keep on like 4 power or an ACOG. Yeah, there isn't a best between the three. So we're talking about the best AKM. They're correct. An AKM is an AKM. It's limited to 762 by 39, but to say one is more desirable is a loaded statement. Yeah, the East German stuff is more collectible. They're worth more, especially if it's matching parts kit. But I'm not that guy. I'm not a guy that really gives a shit about if it's collectible, if it's matching. I just care if it works. That's all I care. So if I had my preference, I would definitely get an East German, just because them Germans, boy, you know, mein Gott, they know how to make some mechanical shit. So you know that it is going to be precise and in spec. Not that you really need that on an AKM, but it's nice to know that it is. The Polish stuff is pretty good too, the Oval 11s. But things like the Romanian was it the PM 63s? I could be getting that wrong. I'm just shooting off the top of my head. Even those aren't terrible. Like there's some lemons here and there, but you know, it's not bad. Gen Fuller Buster is all mixed and matched. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a I call it a, you know, mixed master gun or a warlord build. You know, they're fine, especially with AKM 762 by 39. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter if you got a Romanian trunnion and a Bulgarian bolt and East German carrier. It's all pretty much the same specs and it'll work together. Yeah, East German is known for its precision and QC, sure, but you don't really need it with an AKM. That's the point. You know, it doesn't really need to happen. How do you feel about 300 Blackout? 300 Blackout waxes its asshole so that 380 dudes can ram it. You know, it's super gay. I'm sorry. All right, he wants to jump back in. You coming? There you are. Hey, we're just bullshitting about AKs. I heard magnifiers, stow till needed or leave until mounted. So again, that's a very nuanced question. So I usually mount my magnifier on the side. So instead of using like the side rail mount for an optic, which I'm not a fan of, I'll just mount the magnifier on there. That way, when I don't need it, I can take it off, put it in my kit, and when I do feel like I need it, I can put it back on. And that's also how I do my thermal setup. So, like for example, I have my primary Kalashnikov that I take out at night. The optic has a quick disconnect so that when I want to run thermals, I can just take the magnifier, the red dot off, and I can just slide on my thermals onto the side rail mount. So that's how I do it. All my blah, 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 blah. I mean, 300 Blackout is just not my thing. 300 Blackout was a very niche round. Again, me being an old dude, I remember when it came out. I remember when 300 Blackout was on the cover of all the gun magazines and all this stuff. And it was just a niche round specifically for suppressing a 30 caliber. It wasn't really meant to do all the stuff we're trying to shoehorn it into. It's just something that was solely just to suppress a 30 caliber coming out of an AR. That's it. It's not really. That's all it's really good for. Yeah, it's good for suppressors. So the idea that like 300 Blackout is going to replace the 762 by 39 is just. I mean that's just faggot nonsense. Like excuse my French. It's just I don't care. It's just it's not going to replace 762 by 39. No. It's not going to happen. Like I will dig my heels in and die on that hill. I don't care. Let's see. I have a Noveski 10.5 and 300. Wish you the best. So it doesn't split the difference between 5.56. No,
No.
no, it's not. I don't care what you saw on the internet. It doesn't. It's a niche round for a very specific purpose. Suppressor use. That's it. Okay, so the JMac 14.5. JMac, I'm going to be as diplomatic as I can. They're not what they used to be. I've been buying JMac stuff since 2015. In the beginning, they were really, really excellent, good quality control, all that. Then that was when their facilities was in West Virginia, and they had like direct oversight of it. I believe they're operating out of Illinois now, and they have like not like on site as much. And the parts I have been getting, I'm only speaking of my own experience here. The parts I have been getting have been hit or miss. Sometimes they're not deburred. Sometimes, the journal is too small. Almost every single one I've had has cracked when I pressed it on. It's hit or miss. I still buy their gas blocks just for lack of options. But as far as like me going out of my way to buy a JMac gas block or a JMac barrel, I won't do it. Like for barrels in particular, I usually stick to AK Builders. Lonnie's an awesome dude, awesome person, and they do a nice job. So if you want a good barrel, just get an AK Builders barrel. Don't 300 black out your AK. No, don't. It's just not. So to get those things to run, they got to put a mock gas block that runs to the real gas block just to get it to function, and that's the way they do it for the 9x39s, I believe. Which is the Russian like 300 blackout, and I think it's silly. It's just the way just don't do it. Christmas Day, one gun under your tree. What is it? Anything you want. One that works. I really don't care. It's just I want stuff that works. That's it. Built correctly, works, durable. I could throw it against a tree and I don't have to worry about it breaking. So I'm not a detail guy. I just want stuff that works. That's it. How about you? What's your dream gun there?
Well, I kind of already have it, but I'd like to just get a Colt, like a legit Colt A4 lower.
Okay. No poverty ponies for you. No PSAs. Like,
I mean, I have bought some of them. Hell, even this year they were back to $30 for Andersons, but Andersons aren't bad. It's just they coat them in crap.
I've had one crack on me before. Like, I've had one of their like. I'm the type of dude that once something breaks, I don't usually go back. So it's like I bought one and it was cracked right up the mag well. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, I mean,
but to be fair, that was during the Sandy Hook, 2012. So for you youngins out there, I can't describe like how insane the gun market was in 2012.
The last rendition of the Bushmaster Carbon 15, my buddy had one. I sold it for him last summer. It was a polymer lower.
My brother-in-law's got one.
Yeah, it's got the I think he had the gas block with a little pick rail on it too. Pencil barrel.
It was like the Carbon 15, right?
Yeah, the Carbon 15 had.
Yeah. So this is the funny story about the Carbon 15. So my brother-in-law, he lives out in the woods, and he's not a gun guy, but he has guns. Like he's a casual. And the house next to his got robbed for like 6 hours. Like they were in there for like 6 hours cleaning out, and he's out there in the middle of the woods with his family. So in the middle of the 2012 like Sandy Hook, he decides I want to go get an AR. So he goes and they sold him a Carbon 15 for like $950 because that's all they had. That was the market price, right?
Yep.
So he shows me this thing, and I was just like, "You paid money for that, right?" So he sold it back to him for like $450 when everything like died down. But it was just so funny, like, oh, doggo.
Well,
Here, I'm gonna put my fluffy asshole up there. Like, done. There he is. Look at that cutie. Look at that. That's my gay dog.
This is my gay dog too.
Gay dogs are the best. So I got out of the Marine Corps and I went back like a year later. I went back like a year later after I got out of the Marine Corps to hang out with a buddy of mine. And he goes, "Hey, I hate to do this, but can you come to can you help me out with the vet? He's got 2 matching Pomeranians, right? He's like, they're a handful. Can you just come to the vet with me and just give me a hand?" Like, yeah, sure. So I got like 1 Pomeranian. He's got the other Pomeranian. And we're sitting there in the waiting room. This is San Diego. We're sitting there in the waiting room with our matching Pomeranians, like 2 like pretty fit dudes. And this lady just goes, "I'm so glad that you guys can live your lifestyle out in the open. You don't have to hide anymore." And I was like, "What?" And I looked at my buddy like, "Oh man, we look like a couple of homos, don't we?"
They even have the same haircut. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I love him so much, I'll do anything for this man. But yeah. Oh crap. My phone's on 15%, so I'm gonna head out, everybody. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And again, Coy, I can't thank you enough for
I appreciate you having me.
dropping some of your knowledge here. All right. Talk to everybody later. Bye.